Hello and welcome to the Hem Productions podcast for this Thursday, the 5th of the 2nd, 2026. How is everybody today? I'm doing quite well. I've seen 2 new horror movies this week. One from reliable filmmaker coming back into his own form, Sam Raimi, and the other from new time filmmaker, but content creator extraordinaire Markiplier, fucking doing everything I want to be doing with my life. But hey, look, I'm not jealous of Markiplier. Trust me, I'm not. He's not beautiful and can make movies, and also has an OnlyFans and thinking of subbing to it. Anyway, we've also got some news, a couple of trailers released. We've got an announcement of a new film from a fave director of mine. And we've had Sundance happening over the past week or so. The last week in Utah, but that doesn't really matter to me on this side of the world. But what we did here was about a couple of good movies, one that very much has likely Oscar run in front of it. Let's just get straight into it. So as usual, using IndieWire for the majority of my news reporting today. First news story is a very exciting one. Is Nancy Meyers making another Christmas movie next? The beloved filmmaker is back with an untitled, star-studded film due out just in time for the 2027 holidays. Now, Nancy Meyers, if you don't know, is an award-winning, acclaimed filmmaker, director of As Good As It Gets, director of The Intern. She also wrote the Father of the Bride movies with her husband, Charles Shire. So, she's a very good filmmaker, making a type of movie we really don't damn see anymore, which is very upsetting, the rom-com. And so hopefully this film that has been announced to come over the holidays will be a romantic comedy, perhaps even Christmas classic, including a big sweep of big-name actors. We have Penelope Cruz, Kieran Culkin, Jude Law, Emma Mackey, and Owen Wilson. Myers wrote the film, which she will produce. And yeah, Myers has been trying to get this movie going for quite a while. It was set up at Netflix originally, and now Warner Brothers is the one doing it. It's funny that Warner Brothers, I was listening to The Big Picture last night, and as they're in this limbo about to be bought, they get to do a few things while no one's really watching them. And one of those things is making another Nancy Meyers movie. So, looking forward to that. Another thing we're looking forward to, The Devil Wears Prada 2 trailer. Meryl Streep returns. Now, I love the original Devil Wears Prada. I'm excited we're getting a new film. It's crazy that we've come so far in reboot culture, sequel culture, that we're now getting to the mid-2000s rom-coms that are being remade. I thought the trailer looked fine. I'm not really sure what the dramatic tension of the film's going to be, but I'm looking forward to it. The whole cast is returning, plus some new cast. We got Kenneth Branagh, Simone Ashley, Justin Theroux, Lucy Liu, Patrick Brammall. So plenty of people popping up in this little film here. Very much looking forward to that coming out. The type of movie I bring my mother to go see. Finally on to Sundance. I wasn't there, obviously, and I didn't do virtual Sundance. I'm going to find out if I can maybe do that one year, because they show a damn lot of movies. Now, I was listening to Big Picture, as I said earlier. Yeah, I just steal all my content from everywhere. There was only one noticeably great film, according to him, but reading on IndieWire and a few other websites, there are some movies I'm excited for. I'll save... No, let's start with it. Josephine. Josephine's an upcoming film that won the Audience and Grand Jury Dramatic Prize. Now, when that happens, that almost certainly means Oscar favorite. Now, this film is meant to be a very tough movie about a young girl who takes on a toll after she silently witnesses a brutal sexual assault. And what she has seen is terrible, and her parents, Channing Tatum and Gemma Chan, are ill-equipped to process the events. And apparently Channing Tatum is fantastic in the film, which doesn't surprise me because he is a brilliant actor-director. And so it doesn't have a distributor yet, but I'm hoping it gets picked up by one of the big ones and might go all the way to the Oscars. The other movies that really piqued my interest, we have The Invite, which is Olivia Wilde's new film. Her last movie, Don't Worry Darling, went over in some ways. Now this movie will be a big hit with audiences for sure. So it's called The Invite, and it's about two couples coming together for some sex. Pretty simple there. Pretty simple concept. The ones that really stood out to me are a couple of documentaries. Sundance, I believe all 5 of the documentaries at Sundance went on to be nominated for Best Picture, for Best Documentary this year. So there's Knife, the attempted murder of Salman Rushdie. That will for sure be an interesting documentary. And it's an Oscar winner who directed it, Alex Gibney, so maybe unlikely it'd get an Oscar nom. They don't tend to vote twice on documentarians, according to this article I'm reading. But another documentary, Nuisance Bear, which is apparently about polar bears and how tourism industry based around spectators seeking out the dangerous animals clashes with the traditional principles the indigenous community holds when it comes to man's relationship with nature. Sounds beautiful, sounds great. Same with Once Upon a Time in Harlem, a documentarian, William Greaves. He's been dead for a decade, but his son and co-director has seen it to that footage from a party he threw in 1972, attended by surviving luminaries from the Harlem Renaissance, sees the light of day. So this would be a great little feature to watch. There's a couple of other narrative movies. There's one with John Turturro, The Only Living Pickpocket in New York, which IndieWire is saying might have some Oscar chances. But we got to stop talking about things in terms of Oscars, because it doesn't matter if you even have a distributor these days. You can still make a successful film on a budget and earn a shit ton of money. And that is Markiplier's Iron Lung. So let's get into that first, and also get into Sam Raimi's Send Help. Alright, Iron Lung. Now, I want to preface this with 2 things. Number one, I don't really watch Markiplier. I don't watch much YouTube in general. But I was very curious to see this movie. 2, I think this movie is good. So before I get into huge criticisms of the movie, not huge criticisms, small criticisms, I want to say I do like the movie. And I love that Iron Lung has been put into theaters friggin' worldwide, all based on the passion of this one filmmaker and his community, and has managed to gross $24.9 million US dollars against the budget of $3 million. I think it's a very impressive film for the budget. Let's pull back a bit, discuss what is this Iron Lung, if you're like me and only heard of it this year. So based off a video game from 2022, I went and played the video game. It's under an hour long. This movie's about 2 hours long. The video game is more of an experience. If you don't play many games, some games are more like movies and experiences that are limited hours, and then some are, play them forever. This is one of those more limited experiences. It's a cult horror game. Markiplier played it. I've got his playthrough up on the computer. You can see him discovering in real time that he wants to adapt something. The movie itself, it's about a distant future. An event called the Quiet Rapture severs all contact with colonized planets. And so Simon is going into a blood ocean in a submarine to see if he can find anything that might save humanity. Now, super cool friggin' premise. The whole movie takes place inside one sort of submarine. This is like a sci-fi kind of submarine, but it's got such dinge to it. And the one thing I want to say at first is how good the movie looks and feels. This is a real movie. And there was a part of me that was a little, not worried, but assuming that it might look a little cheesy or fake, because this is fully funded by the one man. So, he gets the final say, and if he likes it, he goes ahead with it, no matter what a producer tells him. Because, he's the main producer too. It's his money. Markiplier Studios. Anyway, so I think it looks great. That's the biggest thing. I think it looks great. I think Markiplier is great in the film. I think he's a good, captivating screen presence. I wouldn't call him a fantastic actor quite yet, but as a screen presence, he certainly knows how to hold the camera. And obviously, because of all this time on YouTube, the movie itself, I think, has some great, like I said, production design, visuals, some great cinematography. The ultimate problem comes down to the length, and I think this will bump up on a lot of people, to be honest. It's 125 minutes long. Markiplier cut it himself, I can tell. Not that it's poorly edited, but that it's super long. Clearly, he's shot so much footage and he just wants all of it on the screen. I would too if I spent that much money. But because of that, the movie's less tense. The whole movie is a horror movie where there's not much horror, and some people would call that a complaint, but the horror comes more from the tension, comes from these X-ray images outside the Iron Lung, which are these crudely, like, black and white images of ghouls and ghosts and stuff. There's so much blood, and blood doesn't equal scare, unfortunately, and blood doesn't always equal tension. By the time you get to 2 hours, the bubble in this movie kind of starts to burst, and I just end up being a little annoyed watching it, waiting for the thing to finish, in a way that I'm kind of expecting it to finish. But the entire time, I was tense, I was enjoying what I was watching, and I really liked the lore, and I liked the lore of the world enough to go and play the little game and see if there's any more details I could find, and there's not that much. It's a pretty one-and-done sort of story, but it was very well done for what it is. And I have to say, quite impressed with Markiplier. I didn't realize he had this in him. I hope he makes more horror movies based on short games. I think that's such a fun idea, just bringing more attention to these really cool stories that get overlooked all the time by non-gamers. So it's a slow burn, very slow. Might be too slow for some, especially for this YouTube audience that he's garnered, who are probably used to more short-form content. But I think he put all his balls into this movie. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. I think it looks good. It's got some metal as hell, fucking blood and gore in it. So there's some really cool shit in it. I really hope he makes another movie, to be honest. But I hope he learns to make them a little shorter. my main complaint. You could probably knock off 40 minutes of this movie, and I really do think it would make the movie better. It would just be tenser. Shit would be happening more often. You wouldn't be sitting back and yawning, which I gotta admit, I almost fell asleep towards some portions of it. Really comes alive towards the last half an hour. But by that point, a lot of people are already checked out. Not everyone's got as much patience for movies as I do. And if I had little patience with it, I'll be surprised on what general audiences think. On Rotten Tomatoes, the critics have given it a 43%. There's a review right here from Zachary Lee, which I quite agree with. Anyone can learn the technical skills of filmmaking, but passion can't be faked. And Fishback has the latter in grisly cosmic spades. Cannot disagree with him there. Obviously, the audience ratings are very high. It's a good movie, and a cool horror movie to be released in January, especially right next to a movie I was also very scared for. Very scared for, but ended up being quite excellent. Send Help by Sam Raimi. There we go, that's the name, right? So for those who don't know, Sam Raimi is a director of a little trilogy of films called the Spider-Man trilogy, the very original with Tobey Maguire. He is also the director of a little trilogy known as the Evil Dead movies. He is a fantastic horror filmmaker. He's a fantastic blockbuster filmmaker. And here he comes back to a smaller, more quaint film. His last two pictures, Oz the Great and Powerful in 2016, quite an awful movie, and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, quite a good movie, but a Marvel movie, in the era where they don't trust their directors. So, Send Help, I was really looking forward to. Small stakes, released in January, horror movie, back to basics, Sam Raimi, show me what you can do. And while I was sitting on my hands, a little worried, I was waiting for the movie to really awaken itself, and it did. And it really does. This movie fucks. It's a really fun horror movie with plenty of gore and two fucking great performances that this movie completely relies on. The story is Rachel McAdams is Linda Little in Send Help, working for new CEO of a company, Dylan O'Brien, who's an excellent actor. He's popped up in Twinless. He was in The Maze Runners. He was in Teen Wolf. He's just an excellent Australian actor doing really good stuff. Anyway, he is the new CEO, and he was meant to give a promotion to Linda Little, but he doesn't, in favor of one of his boy bro mates. Now, there's a real Jesus Christ. There's a real triangle of sadness dynamic here, a real eat the rich dynamic at first. And that kind of got me worried for what we were getting into. I didn't need a repeat of Triangle of Sadness. I wanted a Sam Raimi movie. But about half an hour in, once these two are on a desert island together, the only survivors of a private plane crash, you get this weird kind of slightly misery, slightly Triangle of Sadness, morphing into Psycho Killer kind of movie with a young, bubbly Rachel McAdams playing a real ditz, possibly someone with neurodivergence who's obsessed with the show Survivor and is the only one who knows how to survive. And the dynamic between her and her boss really starts to shift. And the interplay and the back and forth and the romantic tension within quotation marks and the disdain that they have for each other. I just thought these two performances were so frigging good, and having Sam Raimi and fucking Bill Pope, legendary cinematographer, behind the cameras allowed it to really pop. This could have been a script directed by a first-time director, and it would have been fine. It's a solid enough script with some good jokes, and is written well, plot well done, all that sort of shit. All the basics are good, but what makes this movie much more enjoyable, and why it's tearing up the box office, which makes me so happy to see Sam Raimi tearing up the box office with a great movie that's not fucking Marvel. The reason this movie's successful is because Sam Raimi just knows how to make fucking tension. He knows how to make action scenes that go on a little bit too long with a little bit too much blood so you start screaming. I watched this movie in a packed theater and everyone was yelling and laughing. There is just so much pure primal storytelling skills that this director has. Not to mention the actors. I've already said it before, but Rachel McAdams is really a knockout here. Her character is this awkward, shy sort of loner at work, but with a sort of heart of gold, hoping for the best in people. And we kind of gradually get to see that beating the hell out of her and a much darker core come to the surface. This transformation is played beautifully and is mirrored through an almost reverse transformation for Dylan O'Brien's character, who also, he has got this shithead persona down so hard. And when he starts getting a little more crafty, when it starts getting a little more violent, he knows how to work those parts too. And I think these two have great romantic tension together. The entire movie, great romantic tension and also just ire for each other. It's a very interesting dynamic, and I think the movie does end in a way that will make most audiences surprised and honestly caught me off guard. And I was just very happy that this movie really brought Raimi back to where he was. I don't think it's a knock out of the park. I don't think it's perfect. I think there could have been more scares. I think it could have gone a little harder, gotten a little more metal, a bit of that fucking last 20 minutes of Iron Lung sort of shit in there. But it does go pretty fucking far. And I can't be disappointed with this movie at all. It's a fucking very enjoyable time at the movies. And I'm glad we have two nice little horror movies in theaters that both normal people and cinema people can really appreciate. Both doing interesting things. And yeah, send help. Very good stuff. I'd probably put it just out of like the 10 Raimi best movies. Maybe just above Spider-Man 3, which is a fantastic movie. Very, very underrated movie. If you go watch that movie, compare it to recent Avengers movies and recent Marvel shit. Holy shit, does Spider-Man 3 hold up compared to those, despite having some really stupid bullshit in there. Anyway, that's going to do it for the Hem Productions podcast this week. Thanks everybody for listening. Non-existent people. No, if you are listening, thank you. I love you very much. I love doing this podcast. It's for me. Don't feel bad for me. I like doing it. I like screaming into the void. Anyway, next week, I don't know what we're going to have on. Probably another horror movie, because we've got We Bury the Dead coming out from Zach Hilditch, Australian director, starring Daisy Ridley. And I also want to finally do my 25 for 25 sort of thing, except I've got a fun twist on that, where I've decided to change up the format. So next week, we'll probably be doing the best movie from every year I've been alive. That's the idea for next week's show. Rather than a 25 for 25, I got a much more interesting list coming out at ya. So, everybody, have a good week, and I'll see you next time.